Welcome. This is Onside with me, Joshua Holo2, and I have interesting breaking news for you in the transfer market. And check what is happening. Big news coming in from Arsenal, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Man United, as well as other teams across the divider with the Omohun Ebro right about now. But before I do that, no me pomacho, subscribe to the channel. This is Onside with me, Joshua Holo. To subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications. Send me drop a video. You are going to be one of the first people to receive it, and we're going to have a very good time over here. But me pese, me your favorite transfer so far. In the comment section, just drop it. What has been your favorite transfer story so far? Over the last few days, we've seen a lot of transfers happen, right? And Bebrina have been very good for some clubs. And you can also tell, say, other clubs are not really pulling their weight in this particular transfer market. Of course, the market hasn't closed, so there are still a couple of things that are going to be done. But I want you to tell me your transfers so far. Is it Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa to Chelsea? Is it Alejandro Garnacho from Chelsea to Aston Villa? Right? Is it Yuri Tilleman from Aston Villa to Manchester United? And I said Andre Santos from Chelsea to Man United. Whatever your favorite transfer has been so far, just drop it in the comments. Karim Adeyemi has also moved from Borussia Dortmund to Barcelona. So I want to know your favorite transfer so far. Just drop it in the comment section. What has been your favorite transfer story so far? And I think we are going to have some, great and exciting, stories coming up in the few days. And, just keep your attention here on Onside with me, Joshua Holotu. But let's revisit some transfer stories at Enram with the and then we'll look at the developing stories, because a number of transfers are still happening at Bibrina underground. So the full picture has not been blown yet. And so clubs to clubs are having those secret conversations to see whether or not there could be some transfer business happening between them, and then perhaps they could complete certain deals. Just about 1 hour ago, and Fabrizio Romano editorial, so Liverpool are leading the race to sign Bradley Barcola. And this has been for a while, because Liverpool decided that they were going to go for some reinforcement in terms of a more attacking player, especially on the left and on the right wing. After, say, Mohamed Salah, I can say on tour, the so for Liverpool. He had one more year on his contract, but he called it quits. And Mohamed Salah has left. But with Mohamed Salah leaving, who are those who are going to come into filling the shoes of Mohamed Salah? One of the key names that were being mentioned by Liverpool, not Bradley Barcola. So they have originally been leading the race. But of course, Bradley Barcola, as it stands now, Liverpool are still trying to chase him. And he has actually given his word to Liverpool for that he wants to also move. So it's left with Liverpool and PSG to try and complete that deal. So Fabrizio Romano say he understands that Bradley Barcola's option is that he's open to move, and he has given priority to the Liverpool Football Club project if they can get the deal done with PSG. So, I mean, it depends at this point on Barcelona, PSG and Liverpool, whether or not they get the deal done for Bradley Barcola. And I think it's going to be a massive addition to Liverpool for setup now. But aside that, Arsenal are also in the news for Bradley Barcola, because it looks like that is also an option that they could go for. Mikel Arteta and Emranti, this particular season, they are going to have a very difficult campaign trying to defend the Premier League. And I was equally worried for them. So I didn't say transfer markets, they are a bit slow. A few days ago, they signed Christos Solis from Club Brugge for £34 million. Christos Solis from Air Club Brugge for £34 million. And he's one player that I'm yet to really do a deep dive on. But Arsenal would have to also go in for big names if they really want to scare teams in this particular new campaign I ever in the Premier League. And that goes to also mention that Arsenal looks like their transfer strategy has always been said in terms of Premier League proven players. No, ABA, they don't want to spend so much on them, right? So they'll go outside the league, go and bring in names that are not so familiar. Then Arteta will do some work on them, and perhaps they could blow and then become one of the big names in their teams or with the Premier League as far as is concerned, to be able to make a name for themselves. Into which Victor Gyökeres say he was not a Premier League proven player, but Arsenal managed to go outside, went to Sporting CP, brought Victor Gyökeres on, and last season he had a very good, campaign with Arsenal. I don't know whether or not Arteta is the one sanctioning that 100 million euros plus Victor Gyökeres to go and bring Julian Alvarez, but if they complete that deal, it would be a very big mistake on the part of Mikel Arteta and the fortunes of his club going into this new campaign to defend the Premier League. So I really wish and hope Arsenal will keep on doing some good work underground to get the best players to come and join them. So in this tussle between themselves and Liverpool for Bradley Barcola. No, let's see how it goes. I think that Bradley Barcola will sign for Liverpool. At this point, it looks like everything is going into their favor. And Liverpool transfer business, you better come in a very short period of time. Just keep your dials, keep your eyeballs on this particular channel and on this video. And I'm going to give you more information about Liverpool for transfer strategy and also what Andoni Iraola wants to achieve with that team this particular season. And for your information, Bradley Barcola, like I said, he wouldn't extend his contract with PSG. So it looks like he is even trying to push as much as possible the move from Paris Saint-Germain to Liverpool. So let's keep our eyes on that and let's see how it will go over there. Now, Arsenal so they want to turn their attention to Alex Scott if they fail to sign a Branty friend Bruno G from Newcastle United. So, Muntini Yepam, Bournemouth for midfielder Alex Scott had already attracted a 64 million bid from Chelsea, and I told you about this a couple of days ago. And Arsenal are maintaining him as an alternative target at this point. So Bruno G transfer into me and go through. It looks like they will turn their attention to Alex Scott. So Arsenal and Chelsea have been trading on a very similar path in this particular market, because Obekaya Mikachirem say, I don't think that Bruno G would be hijacked by Chelsea, because Arteta will not allow that thing to happen to him twice. Already, Morgan Rogers was set to join Arsenal in terms of how the negotiations were going. But Arsenal pulled out at the last minute because they didn't want to submit anything more than £100 million. And at Chelsea for the 117 coin, Aston Villa 4G. So that is the story. But the thing now is that Bruno G transfer now and go through. It looks like they also want to turn their attention to Alex Scott, that's Arsenal. And Chelsea at this point, who said no, maybe Bruno G would accept to go to Arsenal. So they also wanted to put Bruno G and then use Alex Scott as an alternative. So you can imagine now, Arsenal say if Bruno G transfer now go through, they will rather come and take Alex Scott. It has a transfer window, baby. I could be on Mudi Arsenal because that is a very interesting thing. If free almost ever. And I think in the coming days we will know, because for Bournemouth, maybe right now, on Peso Beton Alex Scott for anything less than 60 million. In fact, they have even said, the player is not for sale. But what I think is happening, especially for such teams of Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, they are monitoring the transfer deals that are going on in the Premier League. And if they realize that a certain player is being wanted for a certain amount, they would rather want to increase the amount that that player can go for, so that they can make more money and then go for more reinforcements into their team. And that is why I think Alex Scott is being valued above 64 million. Because 64 million for Alex Scott, I thought was a very fair deal. But Bournemouth see there be that on tongue Alex Scott for 64 million. And I think that if Chelsea submit a bid worth about 70 to 75 million, there's no way Bournemouth for Becca say ABS can Yande, and Alex Scott is not for sale. Because 75 million, with whatever project they have built over the years, or meet me as a player to develop those players and then get them to be sold for equally high values in the next 2 or 3 seasons. So it is about a transfer strategy that each team implements. At this point, no, Chelsea have no option than to go into the market and then reinforce their team, because Xabi Alonso and so what targets be or achieving with Chelsea team in this particular campaign. So you can only understand what is happening. But Arsenal at this point are looking at Alex Scott as an alternative to Bruno G if that transfer does not go through. Now, there are a couple of other things happening, Smarty. Vinicius Jr. This is an exclusive, Smarty. Vinicius Jr. He has agreed personal terms with Arsenal ahead of the potential move this summer. Real Madrid is yet to receive a bid, but personal terms have been agreed, waiting for club-to-club talks to begin. And this is according to David Ornstein. And this market, now I have to give credit to David Ornstein. He is serious, man. In the transfer window where Fabrizio Romano is always dominating with the here we go and more of the sensations, always giving us updates on the status of certain transfer stories. No? David Ornstein will always come to you when he has the information at his disposal and when he knows the concrete facts that are behind it. Into on yet sensationalism, no, like Fabrizio Romano. So David Ornstein, the transfer story, you can trust and believe that it is 85 to 90% true. Here. And I really love that about David Ornstein because he's been very consistent for a couple of years, but he hasn't gotten the recognition that he deserves because Fabrizio Romano will always take the shine. But there are a number of a year in Central for more Britain and even England at that, who are always very meticulous about the stories that they break concerning transfers. And David Ornstein has really earned his flowers because while this particular window, stories be out there to like demonstrate the fact that transfer stories should not always be sensational. You need to be able to go straight to the fact and tell the audience and also the viewers and as well as the consumers, analysts and also the public, what exactly is in a deal that will help, whatever, parties are involved to get the maximum out of it. And I think David Ornstein, I need to give him the credit for that. But he's reporting, say, Vinicius Jr. and Arsenal have agreed personal term. Now, do you know what that means? Look, Vinicius Jr. currently is taking nothing less than 15 million euros as his net salary at Real Madrid. And every year, annually, Vinicius Jr.'s salary at Real Madrid is about 15 million euros. It also means that, say, we agree personal terms with Arsenal, then whatever he has agreed could be totaling an average of 20 to 25 million per year. That's annually. And I think this is a massive transfer if it goes through. For Arsenal. Because I'm thinking about it, is it that Arsenal they are willing to splash that amount of money for? I mean, how much Vinicius Jr. Beji was Arsenal. But I am speculating, say, if the two parties have agreed, that's Vinicius Jr. and Arsenal have agreed personal terms there, then it means whatever he's going to take could be more than that 15 million or Real Madrid this year. And it could be averaging plus 10 million into maybe at 25, 26, averaging and getting closer to 30 million. Is that an amount that Arsenal are willing to splash for Vinicius Jr. and doesn't make financial sense? We'll talk about that in the coming days. But I'm now thinking about it because it looks like Jose Mourinho himself, not said Vinicius Jr. would leave Real Madrid at this point. So I think that there could be negotiations for a new contract for Vinicius Jr. But as at now, it doesn't look like that is going on. And it's left with Arsenal and then Real Madrid to have club-to-club talks concerning the signing of Vinicius Jr. But listen, Jose Mourinho would oppose Arsenal signing Vinicius Jr. this summer, as the newly returned Real Madrid manager has told the club he wants all his big names to stay. Into this, according to Telegraph, in December, Jose Mourinho does not want to sell his big stars. And I can imagine if your friend said Vinicius Jr. has to leave Real Madrid, it means that the pressure that will come onto players like Yande Diomande should Real Madrid complete the deals for those players. The pressure that will come onto these players, very, very high. I would have thought that Bianca, Jose Mourinho would want Vinicius Jr to stay or body season with him. Then whether or not there will be there will be contract extension negotiations. No, during the season they can have it. Then maybe at the end of the season he can determine whether he wants to stay with Real Madrid or not. But it doesn't work that way. If a player enters into the last 1 year or the last 12 months of his contract, automatically he has to start negotiation on an improvement in the contract. But now Jose Mourinho in person, the big names in the call. So I don't know how that's going to play out. But as it stands now, Arsenal 4 and Vinicius Jr have agreed personal terms. And it could happen that if club-to-club negotiations go well and Real Madrid get the good asking price, right? Real Madrid put their asking price and then Arsenal are able to meet it. It looks like Vinicius Jr will be on his way to Arsenal this summer. And that could be a very massive signing for Arsenal this particular window. And that is the news coming in. And Yande. It's Muntio. There's a breaking news coming from Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs said PSG value Bradley Barcola at 170 million euros and are using the transfers of Morgan Rogers and Elliot Anderson as their valuation yardsticks. That transfer me do they are some Canada. Now every team is using those two transfers as yardsticks to value their players, and it tells you how the market has been polluted, guys. There was some money pool transfer market. The idea about the easy crowd. The transfer market has become very, 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 very interesting, and I think that in the coming days we will see more things that to even blow our minds. But my person the young Diomande update be Bremo, because yesterday there was a report that personal terms had been agreed between Yande and Real Madrid, and after that there have been other updates. Maybe Mama Yande updates here, Yande updates. Intimuntio, according to Fabrizio Romano, and this is about 2 hours ago, Real Madrid have submitted a new bid for RB Leipzig player Yande, and okay, in fact, Muntie, Real Madrid's new bid to RB Leipzig for Yande will be submitted soon, and that will be surely over 100 million euros. And Paris Saint-Germain are attempting to try again to bid for the player, and that is happening behind the scene. And Yande, yes, things are going on, and let's see how it goes. But Real Madrid they verbally agreed personal terms with Yande for the transfer of the player. Of course, PSG also agreed personal terms with the player, and that was during the World Cup in June. But Real Madrid now look like they are more serious. So let's see how it goes. So it could be a tussle between PSG and Real Madrid for the signature of Diomande. And the latest news coming in is that there's going to be a new bid submitted by Real Madrid for the player, which may average over 100 million euros. I think it will be within the range of 120, 130. Ebiana and do 150 nana RB Leipzig for the nutrition, because that would be too much. That would be too much. Diomande, 150 million euros. No. So let's see how it goes. Because Charlie, it's not going to be easy. But Ubisami, I think Diomande will be a very good signing for Real Madrid. When I look at the trajectory of the player and how he's very, very fixated on success, how he's grown through the ranks in the development, I don't put anything past him. And I don't think Real Madrid is too early for him to play. Pressure will be there, but once you go in with a mentality of improvement, of dedication, of being a very a very good player, I think he will do very well at Real Madrid. So let's see how that one also plays out. Breaking news. Muntie, Manchester United are ready to bid for Oli Watkins from Aston Villa if Joshua Zirkzee leaves Old Trafford this summer. The England striker has emerged as a leading candidate for Manchester United to prepare for a possible change in attack. Now, Aston Villa are willing to consider offers in the region of 40 million for Oli Watkins. 40 million. Anyway, that's very interesting. 40 million for Oli Watkins, but yeah, Joshua Zirkzee by Manchester United, he has not really found his feet. And I don't blame the player per se, because I mean, when you are in a system where you are not really given the opportunity to really express yourself, and when you are still struggling with fitting in, I think these are some of the things that would happen to you. Oli Watkins himself moving to Manchester United could be a very good business for them. Got 40 million there. Think a good power. You look at Man United currently, no. Aside the fact that they are fixing their midfield, another key area on attack. It's Benjamin Šeško, a very, very brilliant addition that they brought in last season. But if you add Oli Watkins, who is already a Premier League proven player, the only thing that it gives you is that you may get some consistency from the forward line. So I think that that's a very good piece of business as a Manchester United for a team bombarding a closest deal now. I think it will help them so much in their campaign this particular season. So let's keep our eyes on Oli Watkins, Aston Villa, consider say on betting a ton player now Manchester United. If player I find Joshua Zexi leaves Old Trafford this summer, Joshua Zexi himself has received offers from I think AS Roma and other clubs. He's also trying to weigh his options to see what could be the possible movement for him from Manchester United this summer. This has been Onside with me, Joshua Hollow. To much, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Anytime I drop a video, you're going to be one of the first people to receive it. And I'm like, come your way with more transfer stories. Take care and see you in the next one.